everybody. Hi, I'm Amy Nicholson. I'm the film critic for the Los Angeles Times, and I could not be more thrilled to introduce the cast and crew of The Only Living Pickpocket in New York. Let's start with our writer-director, Noah Segan. And here's our star, John Turturro. We got our producer, Rian Johnson. We have Will Price. You guys are gonna love him in this movie. And then we have Steve Buscemi and Giancarlo Esposito. Welcome, guys.
A lot of people.
So, tiny fun fact about this film. It's going to premiere tonight at Eccles, 6 p.m. It is, I believe, the last narrative film to ever premiere here at the Eccles.
Oh. Way to bring the room down.
I know. All right. We'll just then, to catch people up on the movie before they see it tonight, we just kind of set up the story and who everybody in here is playing besides Ryan.
Yes. The Only Living Pickpocket in New York is about the possible final heist in the career of a storied small criminal played by John. Through his adventures, he collaborates with his best friend, his fence, Ben, and gets a little help from a sympathetic detective played by Giancarlo, and has to go up against this young guy, Will. And that puts it together, and it was all helped out here by my old friend. Sorry, you're Rian.
Rian.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I am really curious, like for John and Steve and Giancarlo, you guys have made so many movies about New York. In your career, you guys are in a way like the face of New York. You Do the Right Thing, Kings of New York Stories. You read the script by this guy. Was there a moment where you thought, okay, I trust him, he can do a New York movie?
Well, it was a beautifully written script. So then, you go and you meet the person, and met Ryan and everything, and I had a very good feeling about it, and it was a nice vibe in the room. So then you begin to get to know each other. Yeah. I mean, it's a process.
What did you like about him?
Yeah, John, what do you like about me?
He's a warm guy. He's good looking. You know what I mean? I like directors who smell good and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I had a high bar because I got to work with Robert Redford, and I was alone with him for many months, and he used to always like hug me and kiss me, and I was like, wow. I was like, I want to do anything for him.
So you're.
Yeah, and I did.
I think what John is trying to say.
him.
I think what John is trying to say is that I am as good looking, maybe better looking than
As good
Bob?
smelling.
You're sort of like the child of Paul Newman, and
Oh, I'm like if you combine Newman and Redford, that's
yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to have to work with this man as an actor again at some point, so I have to cut you off with the compliments because he's going to be insufferable.
Oh,
No,
my.
stop.
Well, how did you two get involved?
Well, I mean, John called me and said, Steve, I'm doing this movie, the script, and there's a part that we would love you to play. And so, I mean, when John calls and tells me about something, I listen. And I read it, and I was like, yeah, I want to meet this director, and I absolutely want to do this, but I'm booked on another film. And in fact, you remember when I did the voiceover for Poker Face? I wasn't sure if I can do it. I said, I'm going to Chile to do a movie. I don't know if I'm... And it just worked out. It just worked out that I was available the week that they needed me. And I was so happy to be doing this, to be shooting in New York, to be working with a new writer-director, and to be able to be on screen and in scenes with John again, because he's somebody that, I mean, we're the same age, but he had a head start on me in like movies. And I used to see him in movies like Five Corners and To Live and Die in L.A. And I had that same feeling as when you see an actor like John Casale for the first time. You're like, who is this guy? This is the kind of work I want to do. So, it was just a no-brainer to want to do this. Yeah.
For me, it's sort of the same. You know, when you have a set piece called New York, it conjures up a certain feeling and a certain energy. And to work in New York is on the streets of New York and in its environs is electric. John, through happenstance, looked at me one day when we happened to meet in Milan for the Xenia fashion show and said, "I have a script. I'm wondering if you might read it." And it's a no-brainer when we've had a relationship for so long that it would be a wonderful thing to do. Then it comes to the director, and so to answer your question, to meet someone who has a clear vision and a sense of what New York is, who comes from there, and who's able to really talk to you about what he's trying to do. You read the script, and the script is just so very intimate and personal. It's about connection, it's about integrity, it's about vocation, it's about looking back and looking forward. And so those kind of connections in films on paper aren't always as clear as Noah had written them. And because of that, you understand and you see a kind of a vision. And when that vision is so clarified by a director who knows what he wants and knows what he's trying to feel and suggest, it becomes something that you really want to be a part of. You know, we've been here a few days together, and I've never met Rian, but we had an experience through Poker Face where we kind of knew each other through his team and talked. Steve and I go way back. It's really about working with people that you really want to work with, who really have a love for cinema and have a feeling for it, and it's all about self-expression. And so Noah was clearly very expressive about what he wanted and playful in his the way he delivered that message to us, and open about how we were to achieve it.
What is an expressive Noah Segan like?
Very clear, very straightforward, and very funny. You know, funny and light. And yeah, okay, we could try that. You know, and you know, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and if it does, it does.
I do remember one day we were in the middle of a scene, and I came up to you, and you said, you know, when you walk up to me to talk about the scene and direction, I can tell that you're trying to think of how you're going to ask me to do the thing. And you know what? I appreciate that.
Will,
Man saying that.
the new face up here is Will, and I really love your character. I really love how
Thank you
play
very much.
him.
Thank you.
He's so great. You're like, he's this young mobster connected guy who wants to bring the mafia world into NFTs. Total jerk. Absolutely great.
Yeah.
I really have to hear about like your audition. Tell me about finding Will. Tell me about going out for this part.
Well, I got the audition on a plane. I was in New York at the time, and I was headed to LA to watch the Super Bowl with my friends. And I got the tape on a plane, and it was due very quickly. So I read the whole script on a plane, and I sort of felt this feeling of what I would describe as like a claustrophobia of like, oh, I think I have a take. I read it and pretty immediately was like, I think I have a sense of who this person might be. I think I've kind of met a version of this person, unfortunately. And so I think it was sort of this, it was just like instinctual, and like the very next day I threw it down and sent it off so I could watch the Super Bowl. And then very quickly, I think we got word that they responded to it, and Noah and I had a 45-minute to an hour phone call where we really hit it off, I thought, and he gave me some inspiration, which was a little bit of the Ray Liotta character in Something Wild, and then the Gary Oldman character in Leon the Professional. If I get anywhere close to that in this film, I'd be very lucky. But it was kind of that energy of taking over the scenes that you're in, and then I knew that I was going to chem read with John, and you know, John's one of the great actors of his generation, so I had to be prepared, and I knew I wanted to come in completely memorized, and the ability to play around, and John was a very generous scene partner in that chem read, and here we are.
He did a great job. He really did.
You didn't scare him too much?
No, I mean, it's my job to work with someone. You know, that's my job. And yeah, I don't like when there's like tension in the room. You want people to be relaxed so they can reach, you know, further, you know, and I don't, you know, operate that way. You know, it's like a musical band. You know, one person's playing, you're a banjo player, and you know, maybe I'm the drummer. You know what I mean? So that's it.
I like that you really picked banjo for Ryan.
You knew him well.
I just have that kind of face.
So you play other ones.
Well, Ryan, you came on to produce this, and what I really liked about this story is it was just kind of, it hinges on a thought I hadn't thought of before, which is it is much harder to be a pickpocket in 2025, 2026, because nobody carries cash.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, Noah, which this is kind of full circle because the first time I was at Sundance was in 2005 with my first movie, Brick, which Noah was in, and Steve actually just before he showed. Do you have the? You got the golden.
I have it. I'll dig it out.
Take it.
Keep
Okay,
talking.
okay, keep talking. Yeah, this is dead air. But so Noah and I have stayed. You know, he's one of my best friends now for 20 years, and so I was terrified when he handed me a script, and I was incredibly relieved when I realized it was a great script. It would have been very awkward, but it's also so. First of all, the movie is steeped in New York, and you know It's a character study, so it's all about the performances, and John just is the movie in a real way. And the New York, though, I mean, a lot of movies, especially that are kind of, you know, not huge budget movies, when they're New York movies, you get a lot of sets, and then you get a couple of B-roll shots of the city. And this movie, with Sam, the DP, and Noah, and the whole crew, the movie is steeped in the city. It drenched in the city, and it feels like hanging out with Noah. That's kind of the best compliment I can give the movie.
this is an original Brick ticket from
There it is.
2005.
And
There.
2005.
I'm retroactively nervous knowing Steve Buscemi was in the screening of the.
I mean, you guys have grown up a lot in the 21 years since then. I'm kind of curious
Have we?
how, well, you're at least you're a little more sophisticated. I mean, was this like this must be a higher bar of trip compared to like 2005. I'm guessing that y'all didn't know anybody, didn't know what you were doing, showing up as like total outsiders.
We road tripped out here in a minivan or something. Stopped at Circus for the night.
Got sick.
Got sick.
At Circus.
At Circus.
Probably got like Legionnaire's disease at Circus. And, yeah.
And then found a house out here. It was all bunk beds. We're all sleeping in bunk beds. And then, you know, immediately like hit Main Street with flyers. Please come see our
Please, sir.
our detective movie. Please come see our. And we handed out flyers on the street.
Did you give one to Steve?
I think Steve had a ticket, so he didn't have to use.
I did have a film here at
Yes,
that
he was here.
Lonesome Jim, and so I had access. So I had, you know, I could go to other films that were in competition. So that was great. Yeah.
I like that you took a shot on these guys.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing that this film does really well is it kind of puts you in the mind of a pickpocket. There's a lot of shots where you're like looking at people's purses, studying how you would steal them. How are your pickpocket skills for the two of you thinking so much about the art of thievery?
Well, Noah gave me an abundance of literature to look at and films, and there was one book, Whiz Mob, which is written by a sociologist, and he interviews all these pickpockets and teams, and that was you heard it in their words and what they did. Most of them work in teams. Sometimes they did have a deal with a police person that would allow them to work certain times of the day. And there was the person who would set up, and then the other person who would take it and then pass it on. And then we stumbled onto Apollo Robbins. I read a piece in the New Yorker about him, and then we got in contact with him, and we Zoomed with him. He's a magician, pickpocket. His wife's a mentalist, and he's a brilliant guy. And he gave me all these exercises, and I spent time with him, and he stole a lot of stuff from me as I was talking. You know, my watch. He would just take my watch, and you know, my wallet. You know, keys, and he's like a classical pianist. His hands are amazing. I mean, so I just, you know, I tried to practice as much as I could, and I didn't want to get arrested, you know, when I was, but I did do, you know, in prep, I would try to steal with people, you know, that I was working with and stuff like
He
that.
would also, he'd come into the office, you know, for like, you know, meeting or whatever, you know, talk about something, and he'd go, yeah, you know, I was on the 2 train, and you know, I saw a
Purse.
wallet hanging out
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
purse, and you know, I just thought to myself, I thought, well, maybe I could just do it. I could do it. Now I didn't.
No,
But you know, maybe I could have. And we're all thinking to ourselves, oh my, we're gonna have to bail John out in pre-production.
no, because Apollo, he studies people's like postures and how they move. But you know, the clothes are different. People don't carry cash. The pockets are different. It's a different world. Men used to carry a lot of cash in their inside of their the pocket of their overcoat, and so it's a real skill, and you don't actually take it. You just latch onto it and let the person walk away from it. Yeah, you just put your finger in it, you hold it like that, and then the person moves, and you just have it, and then you just go like that.
Does anybody in here carry cash? That one? Here's a good one. There's some behind you.
We'll be
is
talking
king.
to you after the show.
Just remember, you know, you should always have some cash on hand. When the banks tanked, you know, in 2008, I called my accountant up, who's Steve's Abe. Abe Allman is Abe is. He's a little guy. He's very nervous. He talks like that. And I said, Abe, listen, I need cash. I said, because you know, everything goes out, electricity goes out. And he goes, well, how much do you think you need? I said, well, I want $20,000. I said, in cash. And he goes, do you think, he's my accountant, and he said, do you think I should do that too? Yeah, it's a true story. Yeah, and I said, yes. And I went to his office. It was 2 stacks of $20,000. And he goes, well, how are we going to get it home? I said, I'm not taking the subway. I'll tell you that much. And I took it home in a bag, and I was hailing, before Uber, I had to hail a cab. You know what I mean? I was hailing a cab. I said, someone's going to know. I got $20,000 on me, you know? But, you know, it's a real thing. And, you know.
John, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, I still have that 20,000.
Yeah. What's your address?
Yes, because, you know, but my accountant still, he asks me now, he says, do you still have the 20,000? I said, it's none of your business. So, you know, Abe, you know, yeah, it was fantastic just doing it. But cash is important.
I think so. You know, it's really funny. I called my guy and I said, no, I asked him, I said, so what if everything goes down and gold is going up? Can I just get some gold bars? And he said to me, well, how are you going to transfer? How are you going to travel those? I said, I'll figure it out. I'll get a crane, whatever I need, you know, because, but this speaks to the movie in a really beautiful way, because the film really talks about, you know, our technical issues of today and technology and being analog. And I come from an analog world, and I think about those things. I mean, I'm telling my kids, my girls, cash is king. Always have some cash on you, because what are you going to do if everything goes down? But the other beautiful thing about this film is about vocation. And so you were talking about a very nefarious yet genteel profession. Mm-hmm. So there's an art form to it. And that's the wonderful thing. And I'm intrigued by Noah always equating it to magic. It is, in a way, a magic, because you get home and you don't have your wallet. Like, what happened to it? It disappeared into thin air, you know? So it's a beautiful film in that way, not only because it encompasses so much of how we think as New Yorkers, but also as an art form. And I think John's performance really exemplifies someone who's been doing it for so long. It's no one's getting hurt. You're being ripped off, but it's in a way a very gentlemanly profession.
You're right. The way you describe it, it does sound like handicraft, like almost a bespoke art, elegant. Yeah. I mean, have they convinced you to carry cash around?
The lesson of this panel is I need to contact my accountant. because I got no gold, I got no cash. I got a credit card for the first time like 2 years ago. No. I had to to get into No Name Saloon. Shout out No Name Saloon. I had to pay a $10 cover, and I didn't even know my debit card PIN. I had to go into my thing, and anyway.
We'll hook you up with Abe. We'll get you Abe.
shaking
We'll get you Abe.
Yeah. We'll get Abe on it.
I'm going to give him some cash.
Some
later.
cash, yeah.
Get Abe on it.
Yeah, always carry cash.
I mean, I heard that, well, one thing in this movie that's like a fun runner is that you're always tipping people with cash
Yeah.
in a way that also seems incredibly elegant. Just like, I don't know if that's called bribery or not, but it's like, it's beautiful.
I don't know. I think there's
It's called
something,
generosity.
you know, it's like you need other people.
Yeah.
You don't exist by yourself, and you really do. And I think there's a delicacy that Noah brought to the script and to the whole endeavor of it. And I think you do. And as you get older, you realize it's really, you know, when I sat in a room with both of them, with Ryan and Noah, and I was like, oh, these guys, they're like connected, you know. And that's a nice thing to be aware of and to be a part of. So, and it's the joy of living for me.
I mean, I heard, Noah, that while you were on the set shooting this, there was a moment where you had to tip somebody to make them go away.
It was me.
Well, we were shooting in Chinatown, and it, you know, New York does not stop for a production. You know, you find your way in, and long story short, there was a guy who kind of was like the block guy, like a guy who just like was on the block, and every block has a couple of guys who were like block guy, you know. This guy's name was Eddie Spaghetti, and Eddie Spaghetti was just like hanging out in front of where we were shooting, and John, you know, we wanted to get a shot of John like walking out of the door or something, and Eddie could give a shit that anybody was doing anything that was outside of whatever Eddie wanted to do, and which was just, I think, like hang around, like smoke cigarettes and like talk shit. Like that's because that's what Eddie does, and that's his job. That is his in the environment, in the habitat. That was what Eddie did. So I said, hey Eddie, would you go? You know, you live upstairs. Would you go upstairs for like 10 minutes for like $20? And Eddie goes like, well, yeah, I'll go upstairs to my house. Yeah, I'll go upstairs for $20. Sure, of course, why not? For 10 minutes, yeah. I say, oh, thanks, Eddie. And he goes, well, give me the money. I said, no, Eddie, you get the money after you come down after the 10 minutes. And he goes, okay. And then Eddie goes upstairs, and John looks at me and he goes, oh, you're a real New Yorker. Now the funny part is that we shoot the shot. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We shoot the shot, and everybody's packing up to leave, and I'm like, "Where's Eddie? Where's Eddie?" And I'm standing there on the corner at Catherine Street, going, "Eddie, I got your money, Eddie, I got your $20." I'm like looking for people to like give Eddie's money to.
Yeah. He was really nervous about that. Yeah.
You got to settle up with Eddie.
Yeah.
Did he come down? Did you
I
find him?
think eventually he came down, and somebody from production had made sure he was. I was like, we cannot owe money. I will not let my reputation as a New Yorker be that I owe $20 to Eddie Spaghetti on Catherine Street.
I want Noah to play Stanley in Streetcar now. Calling up to the
Hey.
yeah. Eddie, give me the money.
I mean, I feel like you should give lectures to directors about how to shoot in New York, how to get them back to New York, because I'm so tired of seeing New York be Vancouver, New York be Toronto. I love that it seems like it was never a question that this would be shot in New York, but I think you need to show people how to do it. Like, tell them to carry the $20 around with them.
You gotta carry cash, and I mean, but it's also like like shooting in New York with these guys is like. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say that Steve's the pawn shop. It's a real pawn shop, and so when we were shooting there were people trying to come into the pawn shop, to pawn things, and when we broke the window, people from the neighborhood came. They said, "What happened?" They wanted to know that everything was okay.
Protective of
the pawn shop, because these two ladies run the pawn shop. Yeah, and it was really it was great. Yeah, it was great.
Well, no, you have acted in every single one of Ryan's films, and so
Sorry.
you have made a study of how Ryan directs. I'm curious, is there anything from the way that he directs that you're like, I'm gonna take that idea and put it in my pocket? That's a good one.
I think carefully as I'm approaching the actor.
Yes,
what I'm
yeah.
Hey,
You really,
call back.
really consider really consider. You know, in all seriousness, Ryan ensures, I think, first and foremost, that everyone is having a good time. The idea that, like, you know, the idea that you are not working under duress, you know, there's enough pressure, right? Like, it's hard enough to make a movie. It's hard enough to get everybody together and on the right page. And, you know, it's like, why are we not doing it with fun and love and generosity and, you know, like organized crime or the circus, you know, or a sports team. I mean, this is an organization. This is a family, right? And you have to sort of treat it like that. You have to really love and cherish the people that you are with. And from day one on Brick, you know, where that was the only currency that we had. That was a tiny movie. The only thing we had was being together and being friends and being on the same page. And here, you know, 20 years later, that's it. That's the only constant.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to, yeah, I echo everything that he said. And that is, and I think for all of us, like the more work you do, the more movies you make, the more that just gets hammered home. That's what you're going to take away from the experience is not even what the movie is, it's your experience making it. And you want to make it with people you love, and you want to have a good time doing it. So, and seeing Noah just very naturally step into that role on set, and seeing him be supported by all these guys, and it was really beautiful.
I mean, after all, we're a family, and this film speaks so much to connection, compassion, caring, love. It also speaks to lifestyle, and it speaks to family in so many ways as Harry looks back and realizes he may have done some things differently. And so what became very clear to me is, and I was saying earlier in the last few days, we all feel like family. We all feel like brothers and sisters, and our lovely producer, and it feels different. So isn't that connection really important in our world today? And in this last Sundance here, in this place that was so supportive, and Redford's vision supportive of the creative energy that we have, I today think so much about, inspired by John and all these filmophiles who know so much more about film than I do. I think about Patty Chayefsky. I think about Sidney Lumet. I think about a film called Network. And I think about what's going on our planet today that really is having me be unsettled in a way. But I have hope, because out of this creative community, our voices can be heard. And to remember that this film exemplifies a voice of a creator, a voice of a writer, a voice of actors. And to have that voice stay alive, we have to really understand that we can't allow our voices not to be heard. And it's through this artistic nature that it happens. So I think about Network. Why? Because I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore. Okay? And so I feel as if we can't be iced out. We can't be. Because, you know, the next community they're coming for is our community. And it's very clear to me. They're creating a civil war on our streets, and they're taking away all of our humanity and compassion. But we can't allow ourselves to feel that. We have to stand up and make a difference, and we do it through this film. And we want all of you to do it through your voices, your life, your creativity, so that we continue to be able to be human beings and love each other.
Thank you so much for that. so much for that.
Well, you know, look, I got kids, and I'm doing it not for me, but I'm doing it for you, and I'm doing it to empower myself, and I'm doing it to empower my children.
We're gonna open it up to audience questions. So as somebody gets their thoughts together, is anybody ready for the first question? Yeah, right back there.
Okay, so my question is, you guys obviously have a great rapport amongst yourselves, and I'm sure you had fun on set. And it's always good to look at when you're watching anything. What's the most memorable moment that has happened? And you all may have different ones, but what's the most memorable moment that happened for you that you will never forget on this particular project? And I guess anyone can answer that.
Ooh, I mean, we had lot of memories. I mean, we shot on the block that I grew up on, which was very memorable. That was very, very memorable. We shot a lot on subways that we may or may not have had permits for, and what? Am I not? No. It's funny because Katie, my producer. So real quick, we're on the subway. John's on the subway, and we're like, getting a little something, a little extra, and two cops, they get on the train, right? And I look over at Katie, at our producer, and it's her photo now I use on the phone when she calls me, and she's going like this. And everybody kind of like remains sort of like chill, and like we kind of like, pack our stuff and we kind of get out. And as we're getting out, I hear one cop turn to the other and go, "I told you it was him."
I wasn't nervous at all.
What's your, you got a memory?
I just like when people go, when we shoot on the street and people just go about their business, and it's not like any big deal, You're just like one of the people standing out there. I mean, it was a joy on a daily basis. So I can't really say it was one thing more than another, but to be a part of something that's delicate and nuanced, and then have people, pass you by and they're carrying on with their lives, and that actually helps you.
Because I imagine you get recognized a lot while you're trying to work.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes
Basically, the mayor of New York City. I know, yeah.
No. Yeah.
My favorite memory is just watching you work with Sam and John in trying to like figure out the shot when John comes to the pawn shop and everything is broken and everything, and he doesn't know if I'm there or alive, and you guys mapped out this whole kind of wonder, and just the collaboration that took, and how organic it happened, and and just watching John, like, "No, put more glass on the floor. Because he needed that sound of crunching, and that's the stuff that as an actor you go, more, and all I had to do was just sit there, and be discovered. But I just loved watching you all like work that out. It was beautiful.
I saw another hand over here. Oh, sure.
Thank you for being here. It adds so much more to the movie. But your comments, your insight into things. I'm hopeful that your voice will continue in the future about what's going on today. I'm also hopeful that I can learn and pick up some new skills after seeing your movie. It's a documentary as well as a fiction movie.
It's true. It really does feel like there's this metaphor that this is a film where you should reach out and touch someone.
Is that the tag? Do we have a tagline yet? Can we use that?
We like that.
Yeah, Amy, can we use that?
Hey. I thought I saw a hand back here. Yes.
Will, question for you. You're obviously, younger than everybody else up there by a pretty wide margin, and
Excuse me?
sorry, and obviously not asking for myself, but maybe for some of the younger people that are in the crowd today. What's it like? I mean, you've got several of what have to be your heroes up here, right? And like, what's it like on the first day? What's it like when you walk in? You said you did your homework, but like, take us through the process.
I mean, it's pretty incredible when you've grown up watching all of their films, and even I said to Steve yesterday, his performance in Fargo, I think there's a little bit of that in the character that I play in this, and I think film is such a, not only for a director, for a producer or whatever, but it's referential for actors as well. You're pulling from other performances. So I mean, when you grow up watching all these New York movies and these guys are all in the movies, I think that their performances are already in the performance to a degree. And then I just think on set, you show up, and at least I just tried to be a sponge as much as I could, but then also like impose my own will where I felt it was right for the scene. And I think that's like the dance, and that's the navigation. And most of my scenes are with John, and to John's credit, he's just a really generous person and a generous actor. So I was not, I was more inspired than intimidated. And there's a day on set very early on that I think about a lot, because it was admirable, I thought, because John's character has to sneak up on me, and the door hinge was squeaking when he walked into the apartment, and John was just like, "We need to fix the door," and Noah's like, "What's wrong with the door?" And he was like, "It squeaks," and I was like, "Yeah," and John's like, "If it squeaks, then Will's gonna hear me, and if Will hears me, then the scene starts with a lie." And then we were like, all right, we're gonna fix the door. But it's like stuff like that where if you're trying to, oily. But I think if you can catch the wave as an actor, like I don't surf, but it's like, but the little things that you can do to like not take yourself out of it. I was very inspired by John in that way, and he actually like picks my pocket in the movie, so yeah, it was great. And
also to Will's credit, because we haven't screened the movie yet, so you guys maybe don't know, with the actors who are up here on this stage, Will plays the heavy, which is crazy, and he's such a sweet, genuine guy, but he brought a performance to it, and he's genuinely scary and also funny in the movie, and holds his own against everybody on this stage. And he just did a perfect job.
Thank you. I wouldn't say I'm the heavy. I'm sort of the medium. I'm the medium.
All right, well, before we wrap up, I just want to ask you guys really quick. There's been a lot of love on stage. Does this mean you guys all agree on the best pizza in New York?
Oh, here we go.
Whoa!
Sbarro's, right? Sbarro's in Times Square.
Luigi's, Sunset Park.
That's good. I like Lucali's. I like John's Pizza. I like, yeah, I mean, yes, Berto, yeah.
So I used to love Ray's Pizza. They're gone, and not the best anymore. But I like my own pizza.
Oh!
I'm Neapolitan, baby.
Oh, we're going to
Making some
yours.
pizza.
The real pizza. The real pizza, man.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much. Congrats on the film. You guys are really going to love it.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you.
night. Thank you so much for being here.